This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Parrott, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
This is James DeMatteis, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all.
This is the world of Capes and Lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Capes and Lunatics. Episode 161. That's right, Will. 8 more. I am Phil. I'm going to do it every week for the next 8 weeks. I am Phil. Joining me as always. Look at that. Look at that. The stash from Jersey.
Charlie the Professor Essa.
And the very well hydrated Queen of Florida.
Hey y'all, it's Lil Hellfire.
Now with poison frog action. Sorry, poison toad action.
What is he, an action figure?
You haven't heard about the poison toads in Florida, Phil?
Oh, no, I heard. Yeah.
Lilith's army grows.
Just poison.
Yes, sir. Watch your back, people.
Just poison frog action sounds like Kung Fu Grip. I don't know.
Anyway.
All right. So, I guess should we start off with the bad news that just came out a couple hours ago? We lost another big name of the comics industry, a legend, Mr. Denny O'Neil.
Yeah. I just like to say this about Denny O'Neil. Denny was the editor on G.I. Joe, which was the very first comic I really got like deep lore into, which is probably a little sad in its own right, but his little editor boxes, saying, Denny, it's just cited as Denny. It's like in issue 36, Denny, and man, I love those, and that was probably one of the things that got me into comics, believe it or not, that idea that there were footnotes and cross references and things like that I miss sometimes.
He was aiming to be a professor the whole time, guys.
Yeah. Oh, please.
So Lilith. So literally, we could say, "Thank you, Denny."
Thank you, Denny. Yes, Denny
God
made
speed
me.
and God rest. Yes, sir.
Yes,
he deserves it.
But yeah, just there's so many like big things. I mean, of course, everyone knows like his Batman work and basically
Green Arrow, baby. I think that's some of his finest work ever, to make him likable and do a twist and take him away from being Green Batman. That for me, that's my favorite Denny O'Neil.
Hard Traveling Heroes, yeah. And I believe he was the one who wrote that arc where Tony Stark falls off the wagon and Rhodey has to become Iron Man that first time.
Oh, love that story. Yeah, well, comics used to be good.
And the indie comics are still pretty good. I'm just saying it's the main ones that are kind of like resting on their laurels at this point.
Well, they're very corporatized these days. That's why.
Oh yeah, we got a whole
nothing
story
like
about
killing
that.
your creative ideas, getting a corporation to suck the life and joy out of it. I agree, sir.
Oh yeah.
Actually, do you mind if I just jumble just based with that lead in? I gotta say, did everyone read Joker 80th anniversary?
Yeah.
Yes,
because speaking of corporatizing, that is the entire last story.
Evil Inc., if you will.
Well, that Nurse Ratched is AT&T, and Joker, you belong on lunchboxes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for years. I'm like, they sell kids' toys at Joker, and meanwhile, he's like he's fictional, yes, but he's a mass murderer, he's a serial killer.
Yeah, I do love this whole story, which is your little One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest story, which spoilers, everyone. All of the Gotham villains are in Arkham, basically contained and controlled by Batman and Robin, although then we later see that Batman's in there too. And,
as he should be, sir.
Yeah, well, that's his point too. Although, this is one of those things where they say, Bruce Wayne is just, an inmate at Arkham, and all of the Batman stories happen in his mind. This is sort of that basic idea, but with Joker.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that really bugs me in this, though, you don't get a forehead scar from a lobotomy. That's not how lobotomies work. That's a lobectomy, and that's a very different procedure. That's what you would do if you actually had like brain cancer. So, but also I do like where, he is saying, when Nurse Ratched is basically saying, you're what does she say here? You're a brand, all that angry nonsense. It's just sizzle, PR. Children love you. Says what? They do. And how does that make you feel? And then I can't help but read that next line in the Batman theme of na 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 neutered. Not quite yet, but yeah. So that was a beautiful story.
I was gonna say you got your lead in because Denny O'Neil did have a. I wonder if this might be one of Denny O'Neil's last stories in this issue. Then,
quick guys, grab them before all the dummies grab them and jack the prices up. Red alert! Red alert!
Yeah.
Savages.
That's true.
Capitalistic pigs.
Which one was Denny's story?
Where was it? Here, let me get the title. It was that one where he goes to the Dove Corps.
Oh, Dove Corps. Oh, that was Denny?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that was good too. There was
going out on a high note, man.
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean, he's usually pretty good on Batman stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really loved. Well, no, I won't say I loved because I hated most of these stories, but I love to hate them, and I think that's what you kind of want best out of the Joker.
The one you were talking about before.
Oh, which one? Oh.
I know you were talking about.
You mean you mean Lady Jason Todd? Yes.
Oh,
Lady Jason Todd asking for her crowbar. I
told you they're going to paint her as the well, I think they already are the anti Harley Quinn. That's going to be her big arch nemesis, and
they're going to paint her as Lady Jason Todd, and she's going to get a crowbar in the face by the end of this. I don't know.
If she proves popular enough, I don't know about that.
I don't think she's going to prove popular enough. Unlike Jason Todd, who was at least a Robin and eventually got people who liked him, I cannot imagine anyone except the most toxic kind of human being actually liking Punchline.
I like Punchline.
Oh, I Charlie, rest his case, Your Honor.
No, I
like the idea of Punchline. The execution is still kind of lacking, but I'm willing to give her a chance if she gets into the right hands. At the moment.
I mean, in this origin story, she seems like a raving lunatic. Well, if you read Batman 92, right?
Yeah.
She seems much more cold and like emotionless.
Well, no. See, she's not a raving lunatic in this. She is a hyper-privileged white girl who wants to watch the world burn, man.
You can't be both.
The best kind of white girl. What are you talking about, Joe?
Oh, man, I am so sick.
Do you not watch movies?
Yeah, I do not need anarchist Becky. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Punch Becky is not
probably answer 2 E's in the middle.
Yeah. Go right ahead. Punch Becky is not what I need right now. Just the whole thing about how she's experimenting on homeless people. It's like, dude,
Well, there's cases for that. I'm just saying, I get it.
But again, too, this was supposed to be out in April, also.
I'm saying this person comes off as clearly just a wannabe fangirl, Slender Man stab my friend kind of gal. You know, Slender Man wants me to, Joker wants me to, so I'm going to start murdering.
They're trying to appeal to a certain demographic, and trust me, there's enough of them. They're the same people that love the Harley Quinn Joker relationship, shops a hot topic, doesn't understand how toxic that relationship is.
Well,
they could be Morticia and Gomez.
Well, like I told you too.
They're directing that towards as well.
I think they want to show her. I think they want her to be over the top, and they think they want to be like, oh, look what the Joker's done. You know, not that she needed the Joker, but look what the Joker's done with her. Because on the road to making Harley, you know, their Deadpool anti-hero, they're going to be like, well, look how special Harley is that she escaped that pit of madness. That's the Joker.
But that's the thing. It's not even like, oh, the Joker made her this way. This is just who she is. She, like Lilith said, she's the girl shopping at Hot Topic, going like, oh, the Joker, that's my man.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, he's not.
There are people like that in real life, though, and that is the demographic that they're going towards.
I think it's to elevate Harley, and at the same time, if there's weirdos who are into this, you know, all the better. But it's just like, you know, oh, look, Harley is such a better person because she could have wallowed.
We gotta get more female villains, is what the thing is. That they had a quota, they met it. We just got to deal with it now.
And why does Joker need a girlfriend? He already has one. His name is Batman.
Well, we're not ready to go there yet. Not even in an Elsewhere tale. We're not ready to go there yet. So this is what
they do. They honestly, they go there heavily in this episode. You know, where he you know, in his dream, he's wondering if Batman will kiss him. Although, Lilith, you know, I know what your favorite panel in this book was. The confirmation of your long-held theory. The world should know what my son did. There it is. Theory confirmed.
I have to say, Charlie knows me very well, and I do have to thank him for a button that he sent me that says "Bite Me, fanboy." Very appropriate. Can't wait to wear it to a con in 2 years whenever we can go back to cons. But yes, Charlie knows me well.
I know my Lilith Hellfire. She is the Joker to my Punchline.
But before we get to a con thing, I mean, you brought up that you know, Joker and the crowbar. I mean, he used the crowbar on Jason Todd once. You didn't see it in years except for like flashbacks, and all of a sudden that freaking crowbar is everywhere. Joker was in Nightwing this week. He's carrying that
merch, baby.
I know.
Joker needed something to go with his action figure. Crowbar, baby.
Lilith, did you watch today's Harley Quinn yet? Joker and Harley are fighting parademons. What does he pick up? What random object does he pick up out of the rubble? A crowbar.
I'm telling you, it's for the action figures. We're finally getting it together and making everything cohesive, Philip. I'm sorry that you're not on board with this, but this is what's happening.
And I'm telling you, the Joker is compensating for something.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that's not a Joker weapon.
He's compensating. You know? I know, it's not funny.
Give me the poison flower misty thing. Yeah. Yes, I agree.
We're like acid squirt guns. Something. Yeah, the crowbar.
Yeah, or like I loved his itching powder flamethrower. That I thought was, and again, that's our Denny O'Neil tale.
Yeah, or even razor sharp playing cards. Something.
Yeah, I mean,
Joker's all about. Joker was the first villain to like really brand, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say this, you know, the crowbar. I don't think of the crowbar as a Joker thing. That's a Jason Todd thing.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Todd waving around a crowbar. That's poignant, and you know, quite frankly, I like the idea of Punchline getting a crowbar to the face, not necessarily by the Joker, possibly by Jason Todd.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, you know, Red Hood is off on his Red Hood-ish.
Hey,
so.
Brad, I believe there's at least, what is that? I think it might be 2 issues of Red Hood are crossing over in Joker War, Lilith, so it could happen.
I don't think they're going to get rid of Punchline just yet.
Yeah,
I think they're definitely going to try to merch it, feel it out.
Hey, he could smack her in the face and she could still live.
I'm just saying, Punchline. Her costume is so freaking pedestrian.
They want.
She's a tryhard, and they're like I said, they know exactly who they're writing this character to, and it utterly shocks me that they have an actual grasp on any demographic that reads their books. I'm just in utter shock about it, and while it's not great, I have to applaud them on that.
Well, if they know
they have a grip on something over there.
Whoa. Well, if they know their demo, they just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
In public.
Anyway, yeah, I mean it is what it is. Yeah, I mean I liked a lot of this Joker book just because it really does not shy away from who the Joker is.
Yeah.
At no point is he in any way, is he
He's
any
a
way
villain, not an anti-hero. Yes,
exactly.
He
is. Yep, in all of them, he's a sadistic maniac.
Well, Lilith, I think you'll agree. I mean, the 80th anniversary specials this year have knocked it out of the park. First, we got the Robin one, then Catwoman last week, and now Joker. I think they've all been good so far.
It's about dang time they got their act together, and it's not. You have to realize it's not just all about Batman and Superman. There's other characters that have made your companies tremendously successful.
Well, we'll have to see what the Green Lantern one looks like, but
I actually have high hopes for the Green Lantern, because they do want to build that franchise. Yeah. I think it starts here with a little bit of soft rebranding with that HBO Max show. I think they want to get into the hearts and minds and while Ryan Reynolds was the best thing about Green Lantern, that whole storyline, special effects, nothing else was good. Nothing else was good. So they have to definitely try a lot harder with Green Lantern to win the hearts and minds of the general public. But I think the Green Lantern story is like, if you're a fan and you've been reading along with the Green Lantern Corps and stuff, the most recent stuff, it's been really good.
Oh yeah, like I said, I've been liking season 2 because he's been Grant Morrison's been giving me what I want. Hal Jordan on Earth.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
That's what I mean. Like, I think some things are coming to fruition, but it might be a case of too little, too late, especially with these business moves that they're doing. So I'm sad to see it. I'm sad to see all the stuff coming together that I've been kind of hoping for amidst this clusterfuck.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, yeah, DC is committed to Tuesdays now, and
it's so stupid. Like,
Lord.
I want to drive to AT&T headquarters and just deliver my firmly worded letter on someone's face.
Look. I mean, here's what I'm going to say about it. They broke Diamond in a way that many people felt maybe needed to be done. I guarantee you they're not paying
But
any
what about
more.
Bob, Charlie?
Yeah, but what about the stores, though, who now have to pay, like, separate shipping?
I mean, yeah, well,
with no warning.
Obviously, they don't care about it. Obviously, they don't care about it. But here's what I'll say. First off, I haven't asked what the differentiation is for my comic guy. I haven't really gotten his view of it. I'm going to say, and here's what just because since shipping is normally by weight, I'm going to say that having half of your major books being split between them means that it's probably going to be about comparable, that you're going to be at that level where the difference gets eaten by the shipper rather than the receiver. I'm going to guess that. And that might have been sort of a rule that AT&T put in the deal, because essentially AT&T is given a lollipop to these other companies. And they're saying, you guys get to lick, but just understand it's my lollipop, and I can't lose all the licks I already want on this lollipop. So, you're not going to charge me any more than I was paying already, and you're probably going to charge me less. And if you jack up the price for the people that are receiving my books, that's going to hurt me too. So you've got to walk this very tight line, and because they're a big provider in this little market, they can do that. And for what it's worth, if you not to say that there's any coordination between Marvel and DC, But for Marvel to stay at Diamond and now be Diamond's bread and butter, allowing Marvel to say, well, I hear DC is getting this great deal over yonder. Would be a shame if I had to go see how good of a deal they're getting.
That's true.
Okay, but here's my conspiracy theory. I haven't done enough digging, but I feel like this was a nepotism deal. Somewhere deep down in the layers, there is some nepotism going on. That's all that I'm going to say. Somebody somewhere is connected.
Maybe.
Well, there's two different companies. Now, someone could be part, like someone in the two companies could be related to someone at AT&T high up, but
or DC.
Or DC. Well, like DC gets to
it's
make their own decisions.
AT&T that made this decision. So I'm just saying.
This is a board level decision.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if like Jim Lee knows somebody, it's going to get done. Well, Jim Lee.
His name is Jim Lee, not Stan Lee. So.
Exactly.
Well, if he's like,
no offense to Jim Lee, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but again, bottom line too, if he's like, hey, goes to AT&T and says, hey, if we use my buddy over here, we'll save, however much, they'll be like, oh, you can save money. It's a corporation. They'll be like, oh, you can save us money. Sure, go.
Well, they usually want you to give you a piece of paper that explains how you're going to save the money. They don't just want
I'm simplifying it. Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Save big bucks. Click here. They tend to with AT&T. Oh, okay, let's click. Wait.
Malware, viruses.
Don't.
I just had to give a seminar about not clicking spam in your spam box. Click. I can relate.
Don't click on anything that.
Just don't touch it.
If you don't know where it comes from, don't put it in your mouth. It is just that simple.
I was about to say phrasing. Thank you, Philip.
Yes.
But I guess Marvel's taking full advantage because did you see I sent that picture yesterday? Was it yesterday? Yeah, I guess Marvel's going to be doing variants now that all it has is the title of the book, and underneath it's going to say still on sale Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I get the thought process behind the Tuesday drop. And the idea behind the Tuesday drop is that if you have primarily DC fans, if the DC fan goes on Tuesday, he's going to see lots more DC books that, since whatever other books they're interested in aren't new yet, they're going to be impulse buyed into, which will get them to read that character and get them to expand their palette.
I mean, I think Lilith brought it up last week. It's like, well, do you have that big of a fan base that's only reading DC at this point? Because I
really honestly don't think so.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some, and sort of like elections, at this point in the comic book game, you're playing with margins. You're playing with the margins. You're not going to get, unfortunately, more people coming into comics than are leaving comics because they have died. You're in kind of a status quo where I don't think the paper comic book market is going to grow beyond what it is right now.
Yep.
For good or ill.
It's inconvenient, for sure.
Well, what I'm going to say is it's a luxury item in its own way. It's a cheap luxury item, but it is a luxury item, especially if you become invested in the stories that are being told across multiple books and multiple lines,
But just the way they did it, I mean, they didn't give anyone really any warnings. Like, I walk in this week, I got I got Flash 755 a couple weeks ago. I got Flash 753. Where's 754, you ask? My guy's like, oh, well, since they changed suddenly, he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to try to reorder you 754 from the new place.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, did we get Black Cat 10?
Yeah, it's in the dude. It was that last part of the Wolverine. It was how long ago? But yeah, we got 10.
Okay,
it's in the account.
I didn't see it. I saw a 9 and I saw 11. I didn't see that.
It's in there.
Okay, maybe I have to double check. But
yeah,
it was like
it was 100 years. It was like back.
Yeah, I'm not missing anything in the storyline. Mm-hmm. But I'm like,
Well, yeah, the new one this week was the start of a new arc. Yeah.
Yeah, this is our Stark arc. Yay! Hey, you know what they call Tony Stark without his armor?
What?
Stark naked.
Get him!
I stole it.
I just love how she compared him as like, oh, well, he's a little brighter than Johnny Storm.
A little, yeah. Look, he's going to tell you.
Don't be dumping on my Johnny, bro. Okay.
No, actually, I'm about to extol Johnny. That's the thing. Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm. These are guys who stand next to Reed Richards all day. Of course, everyone thinks they're morons because they spend every day standing next to literally the smartest man in the world.
You have to have a little. You have to. Is it ego, or are they just trying to stand out because they are standing next to Dr. Evil?
No. I don't even think that it's any ego. I think that they just know that they're okay, and they do their own things. Because, they're the freaking Fantastic Four. They're the first family of Marvel Comics. They don't need your approval, okay? They fly to Mars and punch Galactus on a regular basis. That you think Johnny Storm's a dumb guy just because he likes to get his pickle wet does not matter to a guy like Johnny Storm, He's... Don't ask me what "get your pickle wet" means, Tristan.
Didn't we have the talk, boy?
We've had many talks, but it's a euphemism.
What's a euphemism, Father?
No, we speak of euphemisms in my family.
It's a special way about talking.
That's pretty much Johnny Storm's raison d'etre. Getting his pickle wet. Yes, very much so. He's never heard a comic book with Johnny Storm like that. That's like,
the one where Johnny Storm got his pickle wet.
Oh, lots of people have a lot of strings of girlfriends in comic books, Tristan, like Captain America and Spider-Man. Yes, another dog of the Marvel universe.
Oh, please!
Who never gets called out about it.
Oh, please! You want to know the one with the most girlfriends, and most of them have died on his he has the most probably dead girlfriends on his. Is Matt Murdock. Please.
Oh, Matt Murdock, please! That guy has a STD that is somehow story based. It's like you be with him.
How do you think? You thought it was toxic waste that made him go blind?
I'm just saying, it's but no, yeah. Why are we talking about superhero sex life? Because it's
the Capesand Lunatics.
Yes, you need the lunatic part, Tristan. Okay.
Yes, she talks about sex. Anyway. Yeah,
hey, Lilith is being good, so this is all me. Don't blame Lilith for this.
She has the drinks in her mouth. Come on.
I'll take the blame for it.
Oh, but did you see the other day they were talking, Bendis was talking about his exit from Superman.
Yeah.
But then I guess they must have walked it back. What was it today? He's like, oh no, they're like, oh, it's still far off. So
and all the Superman fans were like, oh.
Look, he's not going to be the central. They're going to let the Superman family have other stories. He's probably going to get one Superman book that he's going to get, and he's probably going to get to write Batman or somebody.
Go back to Wonder Comics, bro. That's what
or he's going to focus more on Wonder, I mean, because people love Wonder, I'm waiting for my next Naomi story.
Yep.
Superman pastiche that she is, but
I mean, I guess she's going to be in Young Justice, but I mean, you see, he do a solo book for her. I mean,
anyone. Is she in Young Justice now?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's supposed to be a regular now, isn't she, Lilith?
Yeah.
She showed up like once or twice already, but I think she's going to be like a regular.
I guess I got to pick that up. I was actually interested in Jenny Hex as a character. Does she have a backstory yet?
She has that mysterious trunk.
A mysterious trunk.
Hello.
She has that junk in the trunk, Lilith.
They know what the kids want.
Oh, the kids these days.
Than his writing.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I was a big talk in your house, Charlie. Yesterday, they revealed the PlayStation 5. I guess that's coming out at Christmas time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because we just got a
course.
PlayStation 4, so obviously the 5 is going to come out almost immediately
And,
to make what we just purchased obsolete.
and did you see it's going to come? I guess it's going to come out at the same time, right, Lilith? It's going to be the sequel to that Spider-Man game, but it's going to be Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah. I am like I said, that's the only reason you should buy. Well, not the only reason. Like I like PlayStation. I think it's better than Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, right now, pretty much. I mean, we still have PS3. But I mean, if I go to 4, it would just be for that Spider-Man game.
And I know a lot of people that did that, and they said it was still totally worth it. I mean, the console itself, limited edition, pretty freaking sweet, and the game is awesome. It has so many Easter eggs. It has a great freaking storyline.
I mean,
the Spider-Man on PS4.
Yeah, the Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, no, Tristan loves that game.
Oh yeah, they look.
I mean, it was like. Mwah! It was like one of the best games I had played that year, and probably like 5 years, honestly. Especially when it comes to Spider-Man games, it's definitely one of the best. It's the best Spider-Man game.
So do you think PS4s are on sale now?
They probably won't be on sale till September. To be honest,
So I was gonna say maybe.
I mean, if you I feel like if you get like a Game Pass instead of like obviously buy the Spider-Man game, but then like just get a Game Pass for it, and it'll pay for itself. Like you don't need a PS5 right away. I always kind of wait when the consoles come out because they're gonna have bugs. There's gonna be all these patches and updates, and I'd rather them just work it out than me having to constantly come home every day and update stuff like 50 gigs worth. That's just not my thing. So I always kind of wait. So that's my life pro tip for you guys.
Because I'm always like, I don't know if I'll have time the game, if it would be worth it to buy a new console. But I mean, Luca's getting more.
I mean, honestly, for families, I always recommend Switch. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Oh, he has the Switch, yeah. But
nothing to tear a family apart like Smash Bros. I'm just saying.
Oh, but Lil, did you see the meme? They showed the new Xbox, I guess, and the PS5, and they're like, "Oh, hey, which one? Hey guys, which are you gonna get? The mini fridge or the Wi-Fi router?"
Exactly.
Because the one
suggesting
I
that
think consoles need to be more sturdy, though. Like I get some of the design choices for sure, and with some games starting off at like 50 gigabytes just before like any updates or new things. You need something with a lot of hefty memory and stuff like that. So I get a lot of the design choices.
Yep,
they're all ugly, but I get it.
Proper PC gaming.
But yeah, the Miles Morales looks awesome. It looks almost looks like way too realistic. Because I was like, I'm surprised they didn't like.
Are you hitting that uncanny valley, Philip?
What?
Like that's what they say when it's like a little too realistic. You get that uncanny valley effect.
I just didn't know if like just for marketing and branding and stuff, if they would make it look exactly like Into the Spider-Verse.
I think that's kind of the point, since Sony owns PlayStation and they can kind of actually do that pretty easily.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That from the trailer I saw, I think the game looks almost more realistic than Into the Spider-Verse does.
Well, we don't know what number 2 is going to look like. They could, you know what I mean? That could be just a preview of things to come.
True.
And
because there were a lot of Easter eggs for that movie in the video game, and I thought that was like so cool when I was watching the movie.
The best way to avoid the uncanny valley is to not enter it. Which means that if you're using characters that are inherently,
is that just like an old person thing though now? Do people still get to have that reaction? Because I know I don't. I hate, like, I tried to go back and play like an older game, and I'm just like, ew, what is this? Like,
I've never understood the concept of the uncanny valley. I've never been bothered by the fact that that CGI character looks too human. It's like,
I mean, if it was like an actual robot, like in my house, maybe, but not like a video game or
exactly.
What I mean?
Well, it's like, look, I've been. Well, I won't say I've been to the Hall of Presidents. I've seen the Hall of Presidents on TV. I've grown up with animatronics. I lived in the Uncanny Valley for many years in my life, and it's not a bad place to be. It isn't human, so I don't get weirded out by it. So I don't, the Uncanny Valley is one of those things like, foot fetishists and moist. where people want to say everyone has this thing. It's like, no, actually, I don't think anyone.
Are we
has.
having
I think
this talk?
like 4 guys
Are we
writing
having
this
this talk
article
with
have this
Tristan right
thing.
now?
I was gonna liken it to the cilantro thing. Like a lot of people don't even know that like the cilantro thing's like more than likely like genetic.
Well,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, everybody hates cilantro, and it's like, no, it's just you and a few weirdos actually. And
Yeah,
you're all probably
literally.
related.
Yeah, no,
And
I
I'm
mean,
one of those guys who doesn't really like cilantro because I do have that soap taste thing with cilantro. But the fact of the matter is, I don't obsess about it. I don't say, "Oh, everyone hates cilantro." I go, yeah, I'm not a fan of cilantro. It's like, that's not a flavor I like. I like I like flavors people don't like licorice. I love licorice.
Wait, black
That's
licorice?
just- Oh, I love black licorice.
Yeah, you're a weirdo, but we love you.
Eating good and plenty's even as we speak. Not spot.
Oh no, not the purple good and plenty box.
Oh, because I'm a supervillain, so got to have my secondary colors.
Yep. Where's the green?
Yeah, we'll get to that when we talk about Miles.
oh my. But yeah, no, I had no uncanny valley problem with the game. I was just like, oh, I'm surprised they didn't make it look exactly like that movie since it was animated or something. But
yeah,
I guess people
I'm excited for number 2. Like this is the most excited I've been for a sequel in like forever.
Well, I mean, I guess Sony's got that monopoly because it's only coming out on the first one came out on PS4. This one's PS5 exclusive, right? So
yeah,
they know
that's definitely going to drive a lot of PS5 sales. But I'm really surprised that they're coming out of the gate with that. That seems just a little. I hope they bundle it with more than just that game. You know what I mean?
Well, they probably want a record opening, right? And that last Spider-Man was probably like one of the best sellers. What year did that come out? That was probably like the best seller they had.
That's interesting. There must be some weird language in the Sony Spider-Man contract that lets them have exclusivity on Spider-Man in video games.
Probably, and they're exploiting the hell out of it.
Yeah, because there's really no reason, because they don't have Spider-Man for TV. Because if you're thinking, it must be because it's on TV and they have Spider-Man TV, which, wait, no, they don't have the Spider-Man TV rights. So that's weird that they can actually say we are the only ones that get to make Spider-Man video games. So, or what it was something kind of stupid, like we want to make the Atari 2600 Spider-Man game, so give us the rights to that. They're like, okay, yeah, you guys have exclusivity on Spider-Man video games. You crazy kids. And then they're like, oh well, that bit us in the butt, didn't it?
Chomp.
What else you got in the news, Philip, before we get to our lovely comic books?
All right. Well, last thing I got is San Diego Comic-Con is happening this year, but it's going to be all online. Going to be virtual. So I guess they're going to have I guess they're going to have panels online or whatever. Because they said anyone can.
Just like WonderCon at home, basically, is what I'm assuming, which was pretty good. So.
Okay. I can see it, And actually, if that's the case, then suddenly there's not like it's not hard getting into the rooms, I guess.
I mean, as long as the internet holds up, I guess.
Yeah,
We don't want it to be like Disney Plus and break the internet for 2 days. Good goodness. Or when everybody was watching Tiger King.
Yeah, so I wonder how they'll do that. Will they have it actually be a first come, first serve, and then you're gonna have but then you have people bootlegging, like, I was
gonna say, are they gonna make like technology where they can't record the screen, kind of like Quibi did? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be a rough go. It's gonna be.
We'll find out. July's right around the corner, guys.
Yeah, and what I'll say is, like, man, these aren't like, I mean, yes, they are nerds, but they're comic book nerds. I don't know if this is like if it was like an Apple event, I could see like, yes, we have the highest technology to ensure that we can fairly and equally.
Apple, that's what they present, but it very rarely turns out that way.
Well, I mean, yes, true, because honestly, it's just a magic box with, it's a little bit of metal and gold on a rock that they've scrawled mystic runes upon, and when they flow the lightning through it, that's how the magic happens. But there are some people who are wizards and some people who are dabblers. And
Petty dabblers.
Petty dabblers like Dr. Doom, you know. Yes, you know, that is the reality of it, and so I don't know if it's going to work. I think that sounds like something that is going to be a disaster, because I do think, you know, SDCC is an event that if suddenly everyone could go to, it becomes an event that everyone will go to. Unlike, and no offense to all the other cons out there, I think the other cons, you know, don't have that cachet. You know, like SDCC is something that gets put on people's bucket lists at this point.
Like when you say Comic-Con, everybody just assumes you mean San Diego Comic-Con.
Exactly. And so I get the feeling that they're not ready for this.
I just wonder though too, is are you going to get as big a crowds as you would if they had a physical con this year? Because, you know, are you going to have like the big name movie stars coming for this virtual con?
I mean, they've been showing up for a lot of the other cons and online cons and stuff. So I'm assuming. Okay. I mean, they definitely need to keep. See, this is the thing about celebrities, like especially like where they can't get out and meet and greet and like flaunt their lifestyle in front of people. Like they're constantly on their Instagram right now. They need the attention for their brand, so they definitely will show up. I can
so you think Scarlett Johansson's going to be on there with like some Black Widow something or other? Gal Gadot's going to be on there with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She has to be.
It is literally in her contract.
Yeah.
It is literally written in her contract. Oh, by the way, you go where we're going to tell you to go, just so you know.
Yeah. All the press junkets and stuff, that's in her contract, and then all the the major cons are in her contract. That's just kind of standard.
So if it's happening, she's there, and
she has to be like in the hospital, and even from the hospital, she might have to FaceTime. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, really, you don't even have that excuse anymore. It's like,
yeah, it's all online. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, did you see, Lilith? They moved Wonder Woman again. Wonder Woman 84 is now coming out October.
Yeah.
You guys know it's going to get released on demand, right? Y'all know this.
No. Well,
they're saying theaters now it's going to be October. So.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, it's COVID.
Yeah.
You know, here's what we're going to tell you. Okay, Trump had everybody sign a release saying, if I get COVID, I'm not going to sue Donald Trump. If everybody
and not right, I don't believe. Mm-hmm.
If everyone gets COVID on Juneteenth at the Donald Trump rally, which odds are,
we're going to be hitting a second wave in October. That's what I'm telling you guys. Like, it's going to be that time.
Well, exactly. So it's
coming out on demand, guys. Deal with it.
Yeah. Exactly. Here's what I'll say: if theaters exist in October, there's a possibility something will happen.
AMC's holding on. It's struggling, and it's more likely going to be gone pretty soon. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, you know, but that's the thing. It's like it's a building that exists. You know, that's the thing. It's like
movie theaters operating on such a thin margin anyway. This was one of the most hard hit industries, and I feel bad, but it's like maybe y'all shouldn't have run drive-ins. Out of business. It's only like 2 in the whole state of Florida or something.
Now drive-thrus are getting the revenge.
Yeah. Well, no. Now they can. What will happen is if it gets to be like, oh, that's the problem. AMC will create AMC drive-ins. You know,
I think that's what they need to be like thinking about on the back end right now.
And I guarantee you someone is. Because honestly, there's been a lot of things about the resurgence of the drive-in. Drive-ins are coming back. And there are drive-ins out there. And not for nothing, there are lots of big vacant lots once you get outside of any urban area. And even in a lot of urban areas, there's a lot of big vacant lots.
As the villains in any Marvel story will teach you.
Abandoned warehouses.
A couple of abandoned warehouses, suddenly you've got a nice 3-screen theater. Problem there is that you only have a 3-screen theater, so.
Oh, the Wizards is gonna hit it big, man. All this abandoned warehouses.
Stargirl nailed it. Drive-ins are making a comeback.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that's a real possibility if this thing is with us for longer than we hope. You know, and to be fair, it's not so complex a virus that we can't be rid of it in 2 years, as far as I know.
Well,
as a person with no knowledge of virology.
Everybody's got to eat at Hooters now. Like, right now. We can't wait.
Well,
What?
those
We got to be out
people will not be
barbecuing
with
on
us
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Like people just can't wait.
Yeah, especially since they haven't even confirmed if having it prevents you from getting it again yet. That's
all I could say is, I mean, they've opened restaurants around here for at limited capacity, and I still think most people are doing takeout and stuff.
no, because people aren't stupid. That's the thing. It's like there are people who are stupid who do things that are
people
stupid.
probably out there. There's stupid people out there.
No. There are lots of stupid people, but it's sort of like when they say, "Oh, there's only this portion of the population that'll get it." It's like, yes, but those are still people, even if they are people that are getting it. And if it's going to be a group of people who are of the stupid variety, I still believe there are more people than morons in the world. And I think most people, when it comes to their own health and safety, they actually do get like, no. And you can see this if you look at schools. Because everyone's demanding everything else open up. Very few people cared that, high schools don't get to graduate. Everyone's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't want my kid sitting next to your plague-ridden child at graduation as they snot all over them. Because parents know that about any kind of school. Every parent knows schools are just a cesspool.
Child prisons.
Of viral interchanging, which honestly I'm going to say is an important part of most immune system constructions. But once a deadly virus gets into the mix, suddenly it's something we get a lot more cautious about. You used to see
half my 9th grade class got mono. That's all I'm saying.
Mono's not typically deadly. Mono's not typically deadly. Even scarlet fever isn't typically deadly in this day and age. When polio was a thing, and you'll see this. Oh yeah, actually, if you go back to like the 1920s and the 1918s, oh yeah, polio, that was a huge thing. And there's like radio broadcasts about how to keep the kids in the house, because this idea of, oh yeah, we can't have people congregating because polio's a thing. When things get dangerous, people suddenly get very self-preserving, and definitely kid-preserving if you happen to have kids. And so, yeah. So if you look at how things are opening up, the schools are your goal. And when you see schools saying, nope, we're not doing it, that should tell you, nope, I'm not doing it either.
Yep.
And that's why we are in a household of nope in my family. We're not doing it. Thank you. Thanks for playing.
How about no?
Hey, real quick question. We've all seen that, no commercial that's out there.
Yes.
Yep.
Just after How About No, there's this girl with a big frizzy blonde curly hairdo and big wide eyes, and she just goes, no. Does anyone know what
she's a YouTuber.
She's a YouTuber. Okay.
Or an influencer of some sort.
She has a very striking persona, and her no is very, very striking, and I remember her. I'm like, I have no idea what this is from. Am I supposed to know? Is this a reference to something?
If you were a young hip kid, you might, but I'm not even a young hip kid because I don't get it. I just know that she's like a YouTuber and influencer.
So she's a modern thing. Okay.
Don't worry, even old lady Hellfire don't know it. So
that's okay.
I
don't mind it. More power to her. I think she's got a good look. I think she's got a good voice. I think she's going to go places. God bless her. I hope she does wonderful, wonderful things. I just didn't recognize her. I'd love to know more about her. See? And that is why that's a good tag for her, because it's like, gee, who's this character? I'd like to know. Let me see what she's influencing. Maybe I'll be influenced too. I'm open to influence.
Go ahead and buy yourself some lip gloss.
That's what the mustache is for. That's what the mustache is for. It protects the lips at all times.
Okay, Phil, we're going to get to you. What was your favorite comic book this week?
I feel so
We care. We really do, Philip.
Phil's Comics Corner.
Let's see. There was a lot of good stuff this week. I mean, even though it was Rick Grayson, I know Nightwing was good, but I think maybe my favorite Marvel was Daredevil.
Really?
Oh, Daredevil was good.
Matt's back, kicking butt, and in a Daredevil mask and street clips. And did anyone see that come in? The nun was Typhoid Mary.
Yeah, that
a
was
little
pretty
bit.
obvious.
A little bit.
I want to say my most improved book was New Mutants number 10.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, I actually wanted to talk about Daredevil for a minute.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. We got a lot of fun with Stoatman, and that's always good. Especially just the fact that, like Daredevil sitting there going, "Oh man, yeah, Bullseye and Crossbones, those are bad guys, but you know what? Stiltman actually is the real danger here." Which of course is a nice call out to the fact that this is a Daredevil villain. And to basically say, hey, I know everyone thinks he's a joke, but actually he could be a bigger threat than you think. It's like, only because I keep on beating him down is he not a threat. And it's like, once he starts dropping bombs because he has height, that makes him a threat. Now, why literally anybody dropping bombs higher up isn't a threat, I don't know. But we get a lovely Daredevil Stiltman fight where he blows up his legs.
Yes.
So that's fun. We get a great Rhino bit in this, and I love Rhino.
I mean, we freaking got Bullet. Bullet hasn't been a thing since like the 80s when Ann Nocenti was riding the Bullet.
Bullet? Oh, is that the mercenary?
Yeah, the dude with the mustache. How dare you?
Oh, okay.
I know, come on.
I don't just because I have a mustache doesn't mean I know everyone with a mustache.
You have to. It's in the code of the mustache.
No, it's not.
It's in the code book. It's in the
how many mustaches do you have?
I know people with mustaches.
Don't tell me what the mustache code is, okay?
Burn. I've seen it.
Doesn't you know? You never ask a woman how many mustaches she has.
Anyway.
But yeah, but then at the end he turns himself in for that killing. So
yeah, well, that's neat, and it's going to be interesting to see how the legal system in the Marvel Universe works. And I hope we get a real procedural. Well, according to this random law that was passed, we do have to protect vigilantes' super secret identities, which wouldn't make any sense unless you had vigilantes who were actually doing good. But it would technically mean you'd have to protect supervillains' secret identities, because when I'm a vigilante, I once punched a bad cop, and...
Well, this is the thing that I really enjoy. All the buildup of everything he's been through to this point. This whole issue felt like an explosion of frustration, like very visceral. I kind of enjoyed that. I thought that the fight scenes were very well choreographed and flowed really well. The artwork was just chef's kiss. It was so stunning.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was amazing.
Like, this is Daredevil. Daredevil's back. Although last issue had that really great moment where everybody, that whole thing. But this one was just like, wow, we're not playing games. We're back in business, baby. Get used to it.
Look how visually striking those fight scenes are, and he's in street clothes the whole time.
Oh, yeah, because you don't need, need a costume.
No.
I mean, for padding, maybe.
Well, yeah.
If you're movie Daredevil anyway.
Yeah, it's, no, the whole,
Burn.
I loved... And I love this idea that they had in this with Daredevil, and essentially this kind of time slows down for him. And this idea that there are no accidents. That if you're just aware of it, there is this clockwork universe. Everything,
a spider sense, if you will.
If you will, yeah. There's just everything is moving, and I can see all the pieces. I can see where everything is going to be, and like. He says how that makes him uniquely great against a guy like Bullseye because Bullseye never misses, so he knows exactly where everything's gonna go. Yep. So he can freaking do Wonder Woman bullet deflections with a guy like Bullseye because he knows exactly where Bullseye is gonna shoot.
Well, yeah, think about it. A guy with perfect aim, he's predictable. You know where it's going.
Exactly. And And yeah, I honestly, this was a beautiful story. I loved Kingpin in this. I don't usually like Kingpin. Even when they, I think they're trying to put Kingpin in almost a Dr. Doomy sort of, he's totally evil, but maybe he actually has a greater good he's building towards, which is really kind of a negative thing. When you think about it, because obviously Hitler had a greater good he was building towards.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to paint him with more shades of gray lately. Yeah.
Well, he's played by Vincent D'Onofrio. You want to,
Oh yeah.
And I'm just gonna say it. Marvel is not gonna say, "Oh, Vincent, you can't be Kingpin anymore."
Yeah,
they will recast everybody on Netflix before they recast Vincent D'Onofrio.
No, they need to bring back that whole cast for Disney Plus or whatever they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think, I honestly think they're even going to bring Iron Fist back, just to be. You know what?
Well, they should bring back Luke Cage and do that whole thing. I don't think that Iron Fist can hold. Yeah.
No,
he can't do a whole show by himself. They proved it.
No. He's not. He doesn't get his own show. Don't worry.
Okay.
He's gonna be like real life Iron Fist. They don't let Iron Fist really run his own thing,
Matter of fact, put him in the Moon Knight show. Have that be the opening scene of Moon Knight kicking his butt, so that can be a callback to the comic book.
What are you trying to do to Ray? Are you trying to kill Ray?
No. Moon Knight kicking.
Iron Fist.
Oh, okay.
But,
every week Moon Knight just kicks Iron Fist?
No, let that be the opening scene of the Moon Knight TV show. And that's how we bring back Iron Fist.
The idea is here's the thing. I can even see Danny Rand and Luke Cage hanging out because we all have a weird friend.
He's his brother that he has to take care of.
I mean, make the Heroes for Hire thing. Make that the team thing.
And then we can get Ryan Reynolds to
Iron
jump in.
Fist.
No. I don't think you're going to get Iron Fist on his own.
Luke Cage, Misty Knight. I mean, you can build that whole team. Colleen Wing.
Yeah, I mean, they might. I mean, here's what I'll say: they can always Darren it and replace the actor.
He's got to have the same first name, though.
I mean, I think the actor can do it. I think he just needs better writing. I mean,
exactly. That's sort of
the character getting.
Don't buck the poor guy. That's like it's like poor old Ben Affleck. He probably didn't drink nearly as much on Daredevil, and Daredevil was the one that broke him.
Can't confirm. Can't confirm.
Like, just give me a good writer. Can Kevin Smith write one of these? I'm really good with them. Oh yeah, you know Kevin Smith is like, yes,
don't make him cry. He'll hear this and he'll cry, guys. Don't.
No, honestly, I think no, but honestly,
Kevin Smith,
if you hired Kevin Smith to write a Batman Ben Affleck story, that would be a film that would be
Silent Bob 2? What?
No, you have Ben Affleck as Batman. And first, remember, this is now older, wiser Kevin Smith writing this story about
You mean
Batman.
older, skinnier Kevin Smith? I don't think. I'm kidding.
Older, skinnier, higher Kevin Smith.
I don't know how much higher. He was pretty high his whole time. I mean, I don't know if he's ever come down. He's that Willie Nelson.
He's skinnier now. It's going to hit him more. It's going to hit him more. He's skinnier.
Well, you just smoke less. It's actually a cost saving.
Oh, like he's smoking less.
Well, you would. You can only smoke to a certain...
Oh, you obviously don't listen to his podcast.
Well, I mean, unless his tolerance is
That's
up,
the first thing he does. That's what he says. The first thing he does when he wakes up is he gets up, wake and bakes.
Now we know why the comic books don't come out on time, guys.
Yes.
We're still waiting for that Batman sequel to Cacophony. It's been only 11 years?
And this is probably why they don't have him writing a lot of superhero films.
Yeah.
Because those things freaking have timetables. It's not like comics where the nerds will just show up when you tell them, I
would love for him to write for Flash, the TV show, like we were promised, instead of just directing.
Yeah, but again, that could be his Achilles heel.
But what happened? What happened there? Because he was directing Flashes and Supergirls. Then all of a sudden, he was like purely just a Supergirl like director.
Well, yeah.
Ego. You know who I'm talking about. The man that must not be named that got booted off of
Berlanti?
Arrow. No, not Berlanti.
Oh.
Even though I have my issues with Berlanti. Nothing like Mark Guggenheim. Nothing like Mark Guggenheim.
Okay, I don't follow the internet scene. You know, I was not a fan of the Ottoman Empire. I'm not a fan of CW superhero shows. So
some of them are good. Some of them are not.
No, actually, I do like the CW superhero shows. I mean, the politics behind them, and I do like Byzantine art. So it's the same thing. It's like the art I love, the politics behind the art. I'm like, I don't have time for that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Lil, tomorrow we have to talk the personnel changes on the Flash. If you know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I just want to say you know how I've never liked that character? I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't want to say you don't like him. It was just a bit of a stretch.
I mean, so it was just kind of like, Sky Jackson, thank you, ma'am.
So there's a great episode of Dream On where they replace the original actor who was the best friend with, I want to say, Ernie Hudson. Or maybe Ernie Hudson was the original best friend and then they replaced him. But they basically had a whole episode where they opened the episode where the guys had an eye lift and they take off the bandages and says, "Oh, you look great." It's like, I don't think I look like myself anymore. And it's like, no, you look great. I think they're just gonna have an episode where they're just a frying pan to the face. And
well, I mean,
and then it's like, I don't think I've got it right. It's like, no, you look fine. You look fine. Don't worry. Don't be don't be all in your head.
You know what? They're gonna do Lilith, you were kind of low, so get on that mic. But no, they're gonna do exactly what if they recast, they're gonna do exactly what they did on Legends of Tomorrow with Charlie. Remember, Lilith? That actress played Vixen, but Vixen had to go back to her time. So to bring the actress back, they had this shapeshifter. Basically, Constantine cast a spell, and she got stuck in the form.
Are we getting DeVoe back? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying something's going to happen, and he's going to get locked in a new form or something. It's going to be his.
I think we just write him off because we're in season 7 of Flash. The fat needs to be trimmed. This is perfect.
But
and to be fair, there are lots of cities that don't have superheroes.
Him and Sue can go off and do their dang thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they ever do bring another actor back, they can just I put a lot of weight since I left Central City. So
I mean, he can make himself look like anyone. I'm just saying something's going to happen, and he's going to,
I think he just leaves. I think we just do what Tom Felton did. We just don't even mention it.
Maybe
that could work.
And Tom Felton wanted to come back, and I'm like, you
really?
Monsters.
Really?
Yeah, they just didn't have any room in the story for him that season. So,
but we got 50 characters now. What the?
Exactly. I want to trim the fat and get back to basics. I mean, Caitlin needs time, even though she's having a baby. So Iris needs to be fleshed out more after all this time too. I'm sorry. There's other priorities than male secondary characters that I don't give two jots about.
Well, I mean, they did say this extra time, because the shows aren't coming back till January now. It's given the, like Daniel.
Retool it, soft reboot, baby. That's how we do. That's how we do it on the CW.
Oh, wouldn't it be a great thing if they made COVID a whole thing in there? It's like, man, it's been so weird being like,
well, that's what I
question from everyone for so long. It's like, I know. Fortunately, all the supervillains didn't want to get sick either, so they all stayed home too. It's like, I know. I went out like 4 times this whole.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like every show going to have to reference COVID now. Even like
I don't think so. I think we just don't make reference to it and move on.
But
unless it's still like unless we get another outbreak.
But I'm not talking like, even just CW shows, but like even like stuff more grounded in reality, like your Law and Orders and stuff. Are they going to have to reference it?
I mean, they don't have to reference it after. So here's the thing.
I mean, after the fact, just be like, whoa, that was a rough couple months, whatever.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, with Law and Order, obviously you're going to get things. Yeah, that was during the COVID thing, and so that's when everything was closed. So That'll be like the
backed
clue.
up rape kits. Are we actually going to address backed up rape kits on SVU? Because it's a thing in the New York Police Department. Let me
they've
tell you.
referenced it before. They've referenced it before.
Oh, they always reference it, but maybe now. Well, it depends on if the NYPD uses
We finally
this.
got the backlog done.
Oh,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, if they actually address that, so they said, you know what? Let's have all those lab guys just start doing all these rape kits since we don't have a bunch more coming in right now. Although, sadly, we
Not
do.
true.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like kid abductions are actually up and stuff. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Well, yeah, because unfortunately, that's like the problem with it is that actually criminals say, hey, not a lot of people hanging around. Maybe a good time to go snatch some people.
and a lot of kids weren't going to school and stuff. There might have been a lot of unsupervised kids now.
Yeah. Latchkey
Yeah.
kids, they definitely ain't 90s latchkey kids. You go home, lock the door, don't answer the door for nobody, and for the love of God, you better have defrosted that damn chicken.
Preach.
Well,
Preach.
Latchkey
the
kids,
problem.
what's up?
TV dinners. Yeah.
Yeah, problem is that sometimes the latchkeys are getting younger, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
You
I
know,
agree.
I mean, and that's the thing, man. It's a complete lack of affordable child. It's basically a complete lack.
America's a mess, and COVID has
Yeah.
laid us bare.
And hopefully we learn. Hopefully we learn.
Oh,
All right,
any
that's
other
the-
comic books you guys want to talk about?
What did you want to talk about? New Mutants, Love?
I just think that you guys, it's time to give New Mutants a chance because it's actually better than the other X books. What's going on over there? I mean, it's not better than Marauders, but you know, with the movie, maybe eventually, did it already come out? Did Disney Plus finally just let it go? Or
What
what's
New
going on
Mutants
with
movie now?
No.
that? Okay, yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not going to be anything like that movie. That movie's going to be a train wreck. But I think the book has grown and it's a new arc, and you guys should just kind of like jump in. I like it. It's relatable.
I'm going to tell you something, Lilith. I don't doubt any film to grow from where they've been. And I think that in a weird way, I think COVID has been a blessing in disguise to companies like Disney. Because I honestly believe they have completely recut Artemis Fowl just because of the fan backlash.
I heard it hasn't been getting good reviews.
Well, reviews mean nothing until it's released.
Well, it's on Disney Plus now. I haven't watched it yet, but
No, it's not, is it?
I think today it came out.
Oh, it came out today?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to double check. So maybe it does suck. I don't know, but I know that there was a definite tonal shift in what was being shown about it. So I think maybe they altered it. I'm not an Artemis Fowl fan, so I can't speak to it. But I got the feeling that there were criticisms that they've addressed, but maybe not as well as they could have.
Well, I heard didn't
I
So-
always thought that they
like-
should have done New Mutants instead of Runaways, but because of the Gifted that was already on Fox, that they couldn't do it. That's kind of the
Yeah.
sense that I got from it, and I think that
And-
New Mutants would make a great TV show. And I mean, is Runaways still going on? I know Cloak and
mean,
Dagger's
it's-
canceled, so sorry,
Yeah,
Charlie.
I think no, it's fine. I mean, here's what I'll say: Cloak and Dagger, Runaway. First off, I was never that into Runaways. Runaways is okay, but again, it had that same almost, not Feige group.
Yeah,
And again, it's not that Feige was the problem. It was the guy who was in the not Feige group didn't want. It was basically a bucking of things where they were like, "Oh, we're not going to even." Yeah, the bucking.
Yes, he said fuck.
Where it's like, "Oh, we don't want to be a part of those guys," and it's like, I think Jeff Loeb is a loving guy if you just do what he says. And,
Whoa.
hey, you know what? I'm going to say it. Sometimes you got to sometimes in a business environment, you got to know who the boss is.
How do you think?
And if
Will
the boss is the boss, you
Damn straight.
say, okay, yeah, let's, you don't want me to do that? Fine, boss. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll make it work. Like that guy on the fashion show says, make it work.
Tim
Because that's what you
Gunn, I
got
love
to
him.
do. Yeah, Tim Gunn, you got to make it work. Because nobody cares that, you have an opinion about your auteurist thing. You're not even the auteur. You're the producer. Don't sit there as the head of the TV branch and say, I'm not going to kowtow to the movie branch. It's like, dude, who's signing your check? You know, is a
Exactly.
mouse signing your check? Then you listen to the mouse, and you call it a day. Okay, and you do your best. You know, I think there's just too many people who aren't used to being middlemen in this world. It's like you can do great things as a middleman if you just understand there is a structure to what you do. And someday maybe you get to be the top dog, and hopefully you learned enough by then and proven yourself to be the top dog. But too many people want to just sort of seize power. It's like you don't seize power. Power has to be given from the masses to you. You seize power, you are going to fall. You build your power base by doing the thing right the first time. And then everyone says, yes, you're great. And if you're Scott Buck and you're barely squeaking by, you don't get to say, oh, I don't like those people. And that was Jeff Loeb, right? Was that Jeff Loeb who was doing a Marvel TV for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, no, I don't cotton to Feige. It's like, no, you cotton to Feige because he's the guy in charge. Because it's classic. Movies are bigger than TV shows. Look at the budget they gave him. Look at the budget they gave you. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, who's in charge? That guy's in charge. So work with him to make your show better. And then someday, when you show that you're just as good as him, everyone's going to say, well, you know, he's really good. And when Feige gets too big for his britches, the masses raise you up. Instead, you get smacked down and nobody likes you anymore.
Okay, on that note, though, I did want to shout out, since we kind of did bring up Bendis not doing super books, a Superman book, he does still do Legion of Superheroes #6, came out this week.
Bendis.
I mean, it's got Dr. Fate, so I'm here for it, I guess.
I don't know. I tried a couple issues of that Legion and I was just bored.
I think he's trying to get on his, like, this... He's trying to get on, like, a very retro feel, like, almost like to me, like a Jack Kirby kind of esque vibe that he's trying to go for. And I'm trying to see that vibe through. I think there's a lot of potential because it's like I'm not really invested in any of these characters. Do you know what I mean? Like say a Superman. So yeah. I'm willing to give it more leeway. I
mean, yeah, I see what he's trying to do, but it's like, you know, it's Bendis, so he's taking his good old time, and with as large a cast.
And some of these characters can benefit from that, though. That's the one thing that I will say about these particular set of characters. His wordiness and the character-driven stuff could work for this book because they do need to be fleshed out.
I mean,
so
I don't know.
That's why I'm really trying to give it a chance.
I don't know if that was my problem even with his X-Men and Avengers runs. Like, if you want to do like a slow...
the Avengers runs, forget it.
I mean, if you want to do like slow character studies in solo books, that's one thing. But when you're dealing with a team, it's kind of like you need to move it along a little bit.
You do need to move it along, but you also do need to set up character dynamics. And I think he does have like kind of a problem with that particular balance. But I think this book, he's like kind of on a learning curve and he's picking it up pretty quick, I think. I think you should give it another chance at the next arc. I think he's improved greatly since the first like 2-3 issues.
Yeah, I might. I mean, yeah, so there's been a booklet in the last couple of months. So yeah, I can easily pick up the last couple and get it.
Yeah. Just a thought. Just like I said, because you're not going to be, you don't really have like these preconceived notions about these characters, So I just feel like people could give it a chance and they might like it.
Oh, hey, Lil, did you read that? You said you read Batman 92?
I did. I was surprised. Like I've been chugging along on this one.
I mean, the storyline's been good, but I'm here for the Catwoman Harley team.
Yes, I was just like, oh, women characters being BA with no one else. You know what I mean? Like this was overdue.
Heck yeah.
Although the pairing is a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'd rather her been with like Wonder Woman or Lois Lane, but Harley's Harley.
Which one?
It's gone.
Harley. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? It's the juxtaposition of the Joker and Batman working together, but Harley and Catwoman. So they have enough in common.
With no sexual tension, unfortunately.
Look.
Well, thank goodness, though, because I don't really like when they overly sexualize Harley.
And well, not for nothing, not everybody is into that. I mean, like, from the female perspective. I mean, not, Catwoman, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But also then at the same time, her type is clearly not the Joker. I mean, Harley may be all down for it, but, because we all know who the Joker's down for. But, Catwoman's like, no, I'm kind of like, I like same. I don't like different, And so...
And Harley is a Captain Kirk thing. She's in the Green Chicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, check out our Star Trek All Access podcast on Patreon to understand that joke.
And again, Kirk was never into that. That was Pike, first off. That was Pike's secret fantasy. Let's be clear. Oh man, and not for nothing, just to make everything just a little bit more topical. The line said by the Merchant about the green animal women of Orion is almost word for word stuff written from Columbus's diary. For those who want to go in and look it up. So I think there was
his statue got his head torn off, so
I'm just saying there is stuff in there that is like, oh, Roddenberry was making a whole statement about colonialism in that we kind of missed because I guess Roddenberry read a lot of books.
He was a man ahead of his time, no lies.
Yeah, so it's like, he probably didn't much like Columbus either, is what I'm going to guess by that scene. Because you do see Pike kind of like, dude, just because that's like something way back in the back of my mind doesn't mean that's who I am. Because I actually do know that whole stuff, as interesting as it might be to my prurient sense, is not who I am, because I do have an ego and a super ego and an id, and I keep that id right where he's supposed to be. Thank you, id. Because this was the 60s and that was still a thing. The id.
Freud,
yeah. It was an early thing. I don't know. I'm not going to say he's wrong. I'm not going to say I'm going to say he's wrong. I'm not going to say he's wrong, but I am going to say he's wrong. He was Freud.
Hey, Charlie,
he was the first guy you really is hard to like. Well, not the first, but yes.
Charlie, you want to throw out any books, or do you want to save it for Super?
I'm going to save it for Super. We're going to say Bitterroot, number 8. If you're not reading Bitterroot, do it.
What's wrong with you? Read it.
Okay, I'll talk about it now if Lilith wants to read it. Are you saying, everyone should be reading Bitterroot?
Yes, you should be reading it. I agree. It's a fantastic book.
Bitterroot is amazing. I mean, David, and dude, I'm going to say this right now. David Walker, walks the line and is a guy who can say, he's a guy who can say, violence is wrong, but dude, sometimes I understand where the violence comes from. And I get that I'm making a deal with the devil, but, does the devil, there's like so many things in this where it's like, you can see the duality of the writing in it and this idea of the demons and the demons, as you know, feed on hate and fear and anger, but all humans have hate and fear and anger. And, that's the thing in this is like every time you see the crowd scenes, we get to see the Gino and the Ingenio, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, in the backgrounds of both like the Klan groups and the African American groups, because there is so much hate, and some are hate born of the real depravity of the cruelty that they've been visited upon them, and for others it is just the hate that they welcome into their hearts. But in both cases, you see that there is this hate that is causing this problem, and it is a beautiful dissection without being preachy in its approach, with being very classically blaxploitation in its empowerment. And there's so much in the work of the great David F. Walker that I just cannot. I cannot
the F is for
stop.
fantastic.
Yeah, really, it should be. No, the F is for fantastic. David F. Walker. David F. Walker, we love you, and the work you do continues to be great.
And I just have to say, Sanford Green's paneling, like those two are so simpatico. Like, like he makes the emotions so visceral, and just everything just jumps off the page and just hits you in the gut. Like, fantastic team up. Like,
those two work well together. I remember them on Power Man and Iron Fist.
And best of all, Demon Pikachu's.
Well,
that's right,
that's kind
kids.
of redundant. You're a parent, you know that's kind of redundant.
Yeah, that's right, kids. If you like the Pikachus, they're in it too. So there you go. We've got, and that is the joy of comic books too. And there's just so much. There's so much in this lore and this history, and
where's our movie? Matter of fact, where's our TV show? I don't even want a movie. I need this to be a TV show.
Look, I'm just going to say this right now.
I know it's in the works. Whispers of it in the works. Not even whispers right now. It's like shouts.
Here's what we'll say. As far as we know right now, what was it? Was it Lionsgate or was the other one? The other key themed thing. One of the studios that makes things has had a lot of conversations. That group also has a deal with another streaming service that is very popular, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's all rumors and innuendo. I have no idea.
Yeah, I would opt for the TV show if I could just throw that out into the universe, even if it has to end up like Fleabag, where it's just like 2 seasons of just very phenomenal TV told the way that the creator wants it to be told, and with no interference. I would settle for that.
Well, honestly, first off, here's what I'll say about Fleabag. I mean, I was cool with one at once. It's with I kind of feel with Fleabag the same way I feel about my kids. It's like, I was happy with one. I was glad to have 2. It's like as much as you can get is great, but you always end it in a way that you feel you're happy with what you got.
Exactly. The end of that show just gutted me. I was like, wait, because I was just streaming it, had no idea that was the last episode, and when she just, spoilers, shakes her head like we can't follow her, and then the fox goes by. Woof.
Mm-hmm. It's good work, man. It's good work. And so whatever they do with Bitterroot, it's great. And regardless, the comic book is great. So it's like that's the thing. It's like they could make 100 Bitterroot films. I'll watch them all. It's fine. As long as you just keep on making the comic books. I want to see Bitterroot go on. And this is what the Bitterroots were doing in the 90s. And we do some great period 90s costumes.
God.
They just need better.
Oh my gosh, Bitterroot in the 2020s. That's going to be a story.
He's probably working on that right now. Let me tell you.
They just got to get word of mouth out there and better advertising, because I keep wanting to check it out and I keep forgetting, because besides this podcast, I really don't hear about it.
Okay, you know what, Phil? I'm going to tell you this. This is a little secret for those of us in the comic book know. You can tell your comic book guy to pull it next month. And just say, dude.
I'll text you on Tuesday, Phil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just first off, there might even be one still on the shelves. So if tomorrow you text your comic book guy and say, "Hey, could you pull me Bitterroot out? Everyone's telling me it's good. I don't know. Could you put it in my long box? I'll see if I want to pick it up next Wednesday." And he'll say yes or no. And if it's no, then say, you know what? Can you do me a favor? Pull the next one.
Yeah.
So do me that favor, Phil. Just write it on the back of your hand. You have a pen handy. Just write Bitterroot. Call comic guy.
I'm writing it on the show notes right now.
Okay. So Phil, we want
Bitterroot.
Another reminder.
Yes. So tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen,
to see if Phil followed through.
Yeah.
And did wall just change, or did I Mandela effect?
No, that actually happened. I thought I turned that effect off, but okay. It was doing it in the back windows a while ago too. So
on that,
because I want to listen to Super Connectivity, I'm going to rush the boys off.
And Phil Parrish would like to pee. All right.
Pee before the show, Philip.
I drank during
Use
that
a Gatorade bottle.
Like I didn't, Philip.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, send. That's right. I need a bottle instead of cup, Lil. Anyway, yeah. So send us your thoughts on anything. Punchline, Joker, Bendit,
Any indie comics we should be checking out?
PS5, Bitterroot. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that button. You can find links to all of it, all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support the wonderful sponsors. Tweaked Audio. Get yourself some Tweaked Audio headsets. Doing my Charlie Esser. Hunt a Killer. Go hunt yourself some killers. Get the first volume of Pod Life, the book, now in digital and paperback, because there's a volume 2 in the works. And remember, when you do all of your shopping on Amazon, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. That's right. YouTube, podcasts, all down there in the show notes. Help support this show, the network. And hey, let's buy Rob Southgate some pants, okay?
Or at least a robe.
History, and you will find out
Master
I'm
Doom
right
robes.
so much more often than I'm wrong.
Oh, we need to get him a
Mark my
nice
words.
green robe with a hood
Oh,
for Christmas. I'll
Oh,
need to chip in, get him a nice forest green robe with the hood. Those are expensive, I know, but if we all chip in, that's the perfect gift.
and hey, let me give a shout out to
And we'll
Ray.
buy it from Amazon.
Yes. And speaking of, go check out episode 149 of Ray's Into the Night and Moon Knight podcast. You'll hear plenty of familiar voices on there. First, there's the audio serial, the new episode featuring Rob Southgate and two up and coming young actors, the Professor and the Quantum Man. And a lot of feedback for Avengers 33 from Charlie Esser, Lilith Hellfire, and Matt Kona reviewing the wrong Avengers 33.
Classic Kona.
All right, Lilith Hellfire, where can people find you?
Ooh, if you nerdberries want to hang out with me on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire or on Instagram with all the cool kids and influencers at Lilith Hellfire 86 or at Lilith Hellfire 69. Boing.
I get it.
And you can get it too.
Whoa!
Out of the pouch. Boing.
I love in your feedback you ended it with out of the pouch bull.
You know I had to do it to him.
And he acts all proper over there. He's like, I don't know where that's from. All right, Charlie Esser.
Oh, well, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email where Mars and Paws once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter. This is at live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I drink a coffee and a Monster in the morning and I stayed all the way up to 10 p.m. and live tweeted it. It was amazing. At Charlie Essa. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality.
Thank you, Mars.
Hey, and if you want more background on that Daniel Sousa guy who showed up on this week's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., check out this podcast every Friday for Full Stream Ahead, where Charlie and Mars are covering Agent Carter right now, season 1.
Oh, and be certain to check out Enough Said on the Southgate Media podcast streaming thing. Yeah.
Justice for Haley. Yeah. Justice for Miss Atwell. Thank you so much for covering it, Charlie.
She's coming, man. She's coming. She's coming back. It's there's stuff a brewing, let me tell you.
Make it so, Disney Plus.
Yeah. Disney's gonna make it happen. But yes.
Make it happen. All right. Getting a lot again this week. But for another week, we have been your Capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics.
Oh my lord, there was a new game show on last night. It's produced by Ryan Reynolds, and he even does like voiceovers on it. one of the questions, what was it? It was like the proper name for what's the real name of the hashtag symbol. And it was like multiple choice, and one of the choices was ampersand. I'm like, I know it's not ampersand.
No. What is that called?
Was it?
But it actually is. Yeah, I forget, but it's actually something that was used in medieval heraldry to reference something that was literally linked to someplace else. You know.
But yeah, it was the new game show, Don't on ABC. It's pretty good.
Yes.
Oh, on ABC, you say? How convenient.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
he
you
a
know
player?
Ryan is still in the mix there.
What wasn't he a Disney kid anyway, or is that the other Ryan?